I do not want to be in a bad drinking game that just won't end. But maybe we're in one here too. We're live in the Bank Plus studio, Out of Bounds, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Come see us at 4 o'clock today at Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance as we celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. And you don't have to drink an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned, but we would love for you to. We had a great time at Spring Street Cigars in Jackson. Got to introduce that place to some people who had not been there, which was really, really cool. They got a full bar in Spring Street Cigars downstairs. The second level is the humidor and all sorts of places to smoke your cigar or just hang out. And then the third level is another place the third floor is another place to hang out. And then they've got a rooftop bar that wraps around the front of the building. It's located where the Rogue Men's Store has been for 56 years. The iconic Rogue building there on I-55 North. So we had a great time there. Now we move Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week to Taste Italian Kitchen. We'll see you around 4 o'clock this afternoon. Look forward to doing that. And good to see the guys in. Elijah Craig crew drove in from Birmingham, and that was a ton of fun. So we'll continue the party. And that's what we do, sports and entertainment and fun stuff. So come see us. Would love to see you at Taste Italian Kitchen around 4 o'clock this afternoon. They're running the Elijah Craig Old Fashioned special throughout the week, too, all the way through October 19th. All right, cool. Bo Bounds, Straight Funk with you. Steve Robertson will join us at 8:30 on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. And let's see. Oh, the Golden Moon Casino text line, 601-885-3776. Twitter X at Bo Bounds, brought to you by Grit Training and Fitness on Lakeland Drive. Grit. Jay Powell, now the director of baseball operations there. And they've got indoor, outdoor turf, batting cages, pitching mounds, and then monthly memberships. They've got all kinds of workout rooms there. Totally renovated behind Ergon in Flowood. Grit training facility. All right. And that's where a ton of MLB guys go through. And I guess they're there now. Well, those that aren't in the playoffs. Because you already got to start getting ready for next year, which is incredible.
I had a buddy lose 140 pounds out there.
Really? Dang. $140?
And the doctor told him he had to change very quickly.
Good.
Next morning, he was in the gym. I think he said he couldn't start. The day he started running, he ran 0.15 miles.
Really?
That's all he could do. And then he kept going every morning and every morning and every morning. And
how long did it take him? A year?
In a year, he dropped 80.
Okay. So
he's up to 2.5 or 3 miles now.
That's incredible.
It's really awesome. I'll have to show you a picture to the race nuts.
Wow.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Okay.
Up there every morning.
Do you think that you could run 0.5 miles? 0.15? Whatever in the hell you just said?
Something tells me I can always get a mile. I will always feel like I can get a mile.
Okay.
There's never a part of me that would doubt at least 1 mile. Because, come on. 1 mile.
Can you do it?
Yeah. If I can't, if you're going to give me a time limit, 10 minutes, easy. 8 minutes would be tough.
Okay. 10 minutes, you can knock out a mile?
I think I can knock a 10-minute mile out.
Okay.
Oh, maybe.
I think you can.
I think I can. They're long enough legs. I think if I just move them, they'll go.
Well, you are kind of all over the place. You're pretty
1 mile
gangly and clumsy.
I can get one.
Okay.
I can get one.
All right. All right. Let's talk coaching carousel. So if Freeze loses this weekend, he's done. If Napier loses to Mississippi State, I don't think that'll happen, but especially without a dual threat QB, without Mississippi State having a dual threat QB. I get Camario is, but he's a true freshman, and evidently he can't even play 6 to 8 plays a game after being on campus for 9 months, which is unbelievable. But so I just don't, I think if you had a Haynes King type player, Trinidad Chambliss type player. Of course, if you had Taylor Green, I'd probably say, hey, they're going to go down and win. Or it's squared up 50-50. But, yeah, if Napier loses this weekend, then I think he will be gone. Stoops now has the worst team and program in the league. And he's just, you got to give that guy credit. He's just stealing money from Kentucky every day.
Fleecing. He's getting rich.
So, he's already
he's
rich.
rich. Yeah.
But he knows he's got another $40 million coming. Or maybe it's in the 30s. But either way, y'all know the drill. He's been there a long, long time, made a ton of money, and really doesn't have a lot to show for it. So, and they haven't believed in playing offense ever. Will Levis regressed there. And there's others. So I can't remember the NC State transfer they got a couple years ago. That was painful. If you think Michigan is painful to watch, and they are, and I know Bryce Underwood's a true freshman, and people expect him to be, really good, I guess. Really, really good at some point.
They pay him to be.
Yeah, no doubt. Larry Ellison and Portnoy and whoever else.
Good gosh.
Yeah. But yeah, Kentucky's beyond boring. If you're going to lose, you need to lose like 41-40.
In style.
Right. In style. Lincoln Riley, I think, is an interesting name. Does he like being out there? Does he feel, Southern Cal has enormous, Southern Cal, the university. So does Southern Cal, the geographic area. But Southern Cal Trojans, their alumni base has enormous wealth too. They have plenty of guys who can fund whatever they want to fund. It looks like they have jumped into the mix. They were a little late, but once you get in, you get in. But the question is, does he want to be out there? And I don't know. He really hasn't done much out there. So I don't know why he would have that much sizzle.
He's irrelevant.
But yeah, they're nobody cares.
3 years, 4 years, irrelevant.
And really, UCLA is the story because of Jerry Neuheisel.
Right.
Rick Neuheisel's son is out there as the offensive coordinator. And he was a quarterback there back in 2013 or something. And that's a hell of a story. He looks exactly like his dad.
That's awesome.
It's almost crazy.
I like it.
But they're the talk of the town. Now that Oregon got punked by Indiana, there's not really any, West Coast buzz anymore. Now, Oregon's still got a pretty clean path to the college football playoff. So they could be, Southern Cal only has one loss, but I don't feel good about Southern Cal. They lost to Illinois, and Illinois's got a good team, and Brett does everything he can with that program, but it's not like they're special, right? We're celebrating Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. Come see us today at 4 o'clock at Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance. Steve Robertson coming up next. We'll talk Mississippi State at Florida. Is there a path? How did they get there? Florida hasn't done what they want to do, but they are nasty on defense. Is there a path for the Dogs to score one more point in Gainesville Saturday? Good morning. Welcome in. Your SEC Insider Hit is brought to you by RPT Commercial, Fleet Vehicles, emergency vehicles, right? All that. Fleet, emergency vehicles, highway patrol, EMTs, powered by RPT Commercial. Rick's Pro Truck. Trucks live here. ricksprotruck.com. We're ESPN 1059 The Zone. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. And we welcome in Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. I'm a favorite on the Genes Page board. And, right? I mean, nobody loves the Out of Bounds show and Bow Bounds like the Genes Page crew. But Steve Robertson, the Boneyard Podcast, Genes Page, 247 Sports, Mississippi State at Florida this weekend. Is there a path for a win, especially without a dual threat QB? As we see time and time again every week throughout the country, if you got one, you got a chance to make some stuff happen. Steve Robertson, good morning. Welcome in. As you've looked at this matchup, the Florida defense is their strength. They've been hit and miss on offense, but they have talent. As you look at this matchup, what is the one within the matchup, what jumps out at you?
Well, there are a few things. The one thing that I would say is I don't know how dual threat DJ Lagway is these days. He has been a little bit banged up too, so they've wanted him to be more of a pocket passer. And as you saw against LSU, that was a struggle. They've started games really well. They have scored on the opening drive 5 of 6 games. The one exception is Miami. But when things have to go off script a little bit, Lagway struggled a little bit. And I think that's where State's got to really get out of the gate. You can't get down 2 scores in this game and expect to win. The defense is too good. So it's imperative for State, and State's had some success scoring in their first drive as well. You've got to be able to sustain that opening punch, and you've got to be able to run the football. And last year, Davin Booth had a really big game against Florida, and I think that is absolutely the key in this one. State has to be able to run the football and stay on schedule.
Okay, yeah, I agree. All right, so, and you don't have a threat at quarterback to run it, so that's going to make it extremely difficult. And really, they've been doing this for some time, Steve, really since Nick Fitzgerald. When State wins, they win with Fitz, Dak, Ralph, Sleepy, some others. They were able to generate 16 wins, as you know, over 2 years under Leach, but he's a freak, and that offense worked with anybody. Do you think in the off week that they will drum up 6 to 8 plays for Kamario Taylor against Florida so that they can actually help Booth a little bit, knowing that the defense can't just focus on, like when Shapen's in there, they can dial in on Booth because they know that Blake's not a threat to run. How do you see it?
Yeah, well, I think even if Blake's in there, you got to run him a little bit. But, Kamario has a package. And, I think especially in short yardage and red zone situations, you have to have him in there. But I think it would be an interesting wrinkle if you just, brought him out there around midfield and let him throw the football a little bit too. That's the thing is you got to keep defenses honest. And, Blake's athletic enough, but, Blake, again, with his injury history, you just don't want to put him out there and have him take unnecessary hits. And so with Kamario in the game, you have to account for all 11 players. And I think that is an aspect that maybe Jeff Levy will use this week. But, when you go back and look at what they did last year against Florida, it was a game until it wasn't a game late, right? And so is this Florida team in a better spot than they were last year, 1-2 when they came to Starkville last year? They're 2-4 right now, and there are rumors out there that Billy Napier is going to be fired, win or lose. And if I'm a Mississippi State guy, and I am, I like the distraction. I don't care if those rumors are true or not.
Right.
It doesn't make any difference. But if they're in the wind, they're in the wind. And you never know how a team is going to react to that. Are Florida players, absolutely loyal and supportive of Billy Napier? I don't know. But when you're 2-4 and you're out of the playoff and you're probably competing for, maybe a Tennessee bowl game, how motivated they're going to be. And I think that's the real issue here. Right now, I think Mississippi State wants Florida a lot more than Florida wants Mississippi State, because I think these Florida guys are kind of beat up mentally and emotionally thinking about having to carry the weight. And we saw it with Chris Simonis, right? I mean,
yeah,
you start getting so invested in what's happening with your coach and the headlines, and even if you don't realize it, it becomes a distraction. And so I think that's the thing with State is you just got to go out there and take care of business, because all the pressure is on Florida, not on Mississippi State.
I agree with that. Yeah. What's the motivation? Wouldn't you love to? I know you're going to the game. Wouldn't you love to show up and that stadium only be about 70% full because of their frustrations the last few weeks, Steve?
Oh yeah. Number one, the Swamp is a difficult place to play, but everybody talks about that aspect of it. It's tough to play on the road, maybe with the exception of Vanderbilt. It's tough to play on the road everywhere in this league. So anytime that you can have maybe 5, 10, 15, 20,000 fans of the opposition elect not to show up for a home game, I mean, that's always a great thing. Because the most difficult thing to do in SEC football is for the offense to communicate on the road. So if you're able to communicate at a better level and at a higher level, you should be able to execute at a higher level.
Yeah. Steve Robertson on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. Florida's laying 9.5. Against Mississippi State. Is that too many, Steve?
I think it is. I think State will cover. State's covered every game this year except for A&M. And at the end of the day, though, it's about winning ball games. And the bigger question is, I think, is can Mississippi State win this game? They can, but I think you're going to need some help from Florida. I think you got to be able to win a turnover battle. Maybe a scenario where you got to score maybe a non-offensive touchdown. Maybe it's a pick six. Maybe it's a punt return. But, I don't think State's going to win a shootout with Florida. I think defensively you've got to be able to stay out of that. If this game, it may be a scenario where the first team to 20 may win this football game. Because I think if you watch Lagway's post-game press conferences after A&M, he was clearly frustrated.
Yeah.
And they referenced he had and I hate to call it a meltdown, but he had a blow up on the sidelines against Texas A&M late in that game, and they just can't finish, and that's really been the issue all year with Florida is that they come out and get the early lead, or they're at least in a tie ball game. That A&M game was 14-14, right? And then you look at the end of it, you basically get blown out of the game, and so that becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy when you start thinking, okay, we're good out of the gate, but we can't get across the finish line. That's why I think it's so imperative for State to get out of the gate early, too, to let some doubt creep into their minds, but to instill some confidence in your own offense.
Okay, well, how do they get to 20 to 24 points? Without a playmaker at quarterback, Shapen's pretty accurate. So he's either going to have a deadly accurate day or Booth's going to have to go off, right?
Yeah, I think that aspect is probably true. Well, Marcel Reed didn't have a lot of run yards last week either, but there's always the threat to run, right? I mean, and sometimes the perception is greater than the reality of it, right? If you have to respect the possibility that he may run, you keep linebackers honest, right? And so I think really the difference in this ball game is going to be Mississippi State's ability to run against Florida, and then State's ability to kind of slow that Florida running game down, which hadn't been great. I mean,
which is weird because Ball is really talented, Steve.
Well, not only that, but Billy Napier, that was what he was known for,
right?
Is to be able to put together. When he was at UL Lafayette, and granted it's the Sun Belt, I get it, I understand the nickname, but they were probably the most physical team in that league year in and year out because they ran the football and rotated three backs that were very talented and just kind of kept you constantly in a third and short situation, and over the course of a 60-minute ball game, they just wore people down. And you would think with Florida's ability to be a top 10 recruiter year in and year out that you'd have a stable of running backs. But for some reason, they don't.
Yeah. Okay. Injuries. All right. You want to walk us through Albert Reese, Isaac Smith, and others, Steve?
Yeah, we'll find out a lot tonight when the availability report comes out. Of course, Fluff Bockwell is out this week. I mean, Jeff Levy
Sure.
said on Monday, well, he's doubtful. I mean, that's not breaking any news there. I mean, we all kind of know where that stands. But he wanted Isaac and Albert Reese both to make it through a Wednesday practice. And so, the night the availability report comes out, I suspect both of them will be listed as questionable. And then we'll kind of see how they progress throughout the week. But, I think that if you're looking at the Isaac Smith situation, I think you're somewhat encouraged because of how well Tony Mitchell played against Texas A&M. There wasn't a big drop-off there. And I thought Tony Mitchell did some really good things. The big concern, of course, is Albert Reese, because that puts you in a situation where you're playing musical chairs again. Yes, you get the benefit of the open date, but when you got guards playing tackle, and guys having to flip sides and that sort of stuff, it's a very negative scenario for everybody, because communication, cohesion are so important, and going on the road and playing a team that is more talented than you, even though they don't have the same record as you. Florida is the more talented team playing at home. So Mississippi State has to execute at a very, very high level.
Yeah. There was one more I was supposed to ask you about from a listener, but I can't find the text. All right. Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. It sounds the Florida defense. You and I talked about the Florida defense and the compared to the A&M defense, and you mentioned that they don't bring as much pressure, but they're damn sure stout up front. But wouldn't you say there's a lot of similarities as far as the way they're built between the Florida and A&M defenses, Steve?
Yeah, I absolutely. From like a physical attribute standpoint, I mean, yeah, Florida checks all the boxes. I mean, as far as personnel, but they've got 9 sacks this year. State has 8. So they're not pass rushing with the same intensity that perhaps Tennessee and Texas A&M are. And I think that's something Mississippi State has to exploit. You've got to be able to stand up a little bit, because if you're Florida, you're thinking, okay, well, Mississippi State kind of got overwhelmed a little bit at times against Texas A&M. We've got to be able to do that. I just don't know if they have that bell cow up front that can facilitate that type of game plan. And I think that's
okay.
We talk about it all the time. You've got to keep Blake Shapen upright, and
he's got to get the ball out too, Steve.
Absolutely. But he's also got to have more than the second half to throw it. I mean, that was what happened. I think it was so demoralizing early in that A&M game. The very first drive of the game, to give up 2 sacks. Now, you don't give up a bunch the rest of the game, but there was pressure throughout, and it was because you had a patchwork offensive line. And I think you got to get creative at times too. You got to move them around the pocket. You got to do some things to kind of set up matchups that are advantageous, but also too, you got to make sure Blake Shapen has time to throw the football.
Well, Levy's supposed to be an offensive savant. Let's go. I mean, him taking the snap and standing there like a statue, I don't think is going to work. Down at Florida, or really against anybody else going forward with this schedule. I can't believe we've got a listener who actually wants to ask you this question. Steve Robertson on the Out of Bounds show. I don't even know if you've looked at this. So, because you're spending 15 hours a day on Mississippi State football, and y'all are doing a great job with your content on genespage.com. But I'll throw it out. If you had to give it a guess right now, who do you think the starting rotation is going to be for Mississippi State baseball? I'm not kidding. I have a text from someone on that. So you may think I'm crazy, but I'm just telling you what a listener wants your best guess.
It's so funny, people, listen, we love football, but Mississippi State's a baseball school that loves football. And we kind of have a fair weather relationship with men's basketball sometimes, which has to change, right? And we've got to be more and more committed to basketball. But I think it's Thomas Valenkas on Friday, probably Ryan McPherson on Saturday, and I would probably go William Kirk on Sunday, or Duke Stone. I think there's still some things to figure out, obviously. But, we cover this very extensively. And, we've talked to the staff and things of that nature. But I would have been at the scrimmage last night, but like everybody else in Mississippi, I'm kind of dealing with the crud, as they say in South Mississippi. But, I think Valenkas has been great. Ryan McPherson has been great, And so the thing that we talk about all the time, though, is the teams that have special seasons are the teams that identify a third starter early and teams that get production from the bottom third of the order. And based on what we have seen from this team in the fall, Mississippi State should be able to do both of those very, very easily this year. I think this team is as deep as any Mississippi State team has ever been.
Wow. Okay. Steve Roberts. See, you knew he was going to come through. Here he is. He's fighting the crud. He's covering football 15 hours a day. He goes to every single game. Of course, he goes to every single baseball game. And he's able to pull that just boom and give my listener, my texter, a little bit of ammo for fall. How much longer, speaking of Steve Robertson, how much longer does fall ball go? I don't even know.
Yeah, we got a couple more weeks, and it's interesting too. Like I asked O'Connor about that in the beginning, and he said he kind of likes to get it done earlier, just because it gives everybody a little chance to kind of rest, and you get through all your finals for the fall and things like that. But it gives the staff an opportunity to kind of recruit, but also to evaluate where they are. Now this is going to be a different year because you've got the designated student athlete portal that opens up. You may have some guys you designated as DSA that have the ability to transfer out in December and play somewhere else in January. And so I think that's an aspect of it. But more times moving forward, when there is a hard cap on a roster, you're going to have to make some cuts, So I think getting fall ball done, getting your evaluations done early is probably best for everybody. So it's an atypical year this year, but, there'll be a Pensacola this week. I think that's a super cool thing, too. It's like, and it's almost kind of poetic. Florida State's the team that ends, last season, and then you're going to open up, with a scrimmage down in a sold-out scrimmage at Pensacola, and that kind of helps Florida State's on the road at Stanford this week in football, but, a lot of Bulldogs going to be in Pensacola for baseball.
Ah, I forgot about that. So that's down in their AA ballpark in Pensacola?
Yeah, that's down at the Wahoos.
That's where Tanner Allen was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to stream it or not. I mean, you think if it's a sellout game, you ought to stream it. Make some money off that too. I mean, but there's a lot of people like we're thinking, man, it'd be great if we could do both. And we'll have Mike Nemeth down there covering baseball for us, and the rest of us will be in Gainesville covering football. But we're happy to be able to do both. I mean, it's important to our fans, so it's important to us. But what a cool thing, to be able to go play, on the road, and our fans have an opportunity to go see, another prestigious program in college baseball. And it's only 2 sevens, and it'll be a fun day, and we'll see how things go. But it'll be the first look for a lot of our fans at a very unique venue against a quality opponent. And yes, it is just a scrimmage, and so they're going to play to win, but you got to get work for guys. But I think it's a super cool thing that State and Florida State were able to pull this off for both fan bases.
Yeah, that is cool. I like that. Having some of these exhibition games in the fall, especially against a really good program in the Florida State Seminoles. So the last thing I remember is Jake Gautreaux getting tossed. Did Parker get tossed too, or did just Gautreaux get tossed in that last game? I can't remember, Steve.
Was one of them. And then Jake, I think that was Jake's like goodbye moment. And if you remember how bad that game was officiated, I mean, it was ridiculous.
Awful.
It was terrible. And I say all the time, we take this for granted, but the worst officiating in college sports is women's basketball. I mean, it's not even close. But when you have a bad home plate umpire, it doesn't matter how good the rest of the crew is, right? And we saw with Morris Hodges a couple of years ago at A&M, and he runs up and bumps Hunter Hines, but that game was pitiful. I mean, and, sometimes our sources will give us some TrackMan data, and that particular game was one of the worst strike zones of the year.
That's incredible. Oh, my gosh. All right, so I didn't hear you. Did Gautreaux, we had turned you down. There's a little reverb in the phone. What did Gautreaux and Parker get tossed, or just Gautreaux in that last game?
Just Jake.
Okay.
Just Jake.
Okay.
Jake did, and North Sullivan, and but yeah, Parker didn't get tossed.
Okay. All right. I think it's cool that O'Connor decided to retain Parker. What about you?
Oh, I do too, and I think O'Connor would agree. I asked him one of our last media opportunities, what's it been like with Justin Parker, last few months, And I think he feels even better about that decision today because I think he's figured out philosophically they're very similar.
Yeah.
And kind of the things they want to do. And pitching guys are interesting, right? I mean, you
Sure.
get O'Connor's a guy with a pitching pedigree, as is Justin Parker, and sometimes those guys are a little bit kind of prickly at times. Hey, we're going to do these things my way.
Right.
But, the thing that O'Connor brought up is just how well Parker has been able to get to know the kids. To have the opportunity to kind of figure out who they are as people. And, he knows his guys that he brought in. And then, to see Thomas Valikas and those guys kind of make a jump with Parker kind of pulling the strings a little bit, I think it's just reinforced what Brian O'Connor did in the beginning.
I still owe you a steak dinner from me thinking that Coleman Hutzler was going to get fired. And he was at one point, but some things got, shuffled the deck. And you said no, and we bet on the air, and I still have to take you to, somewhere, Older Brother Bistro or Restaurant Tyler or somewhere Taste to get a steak, don't I?
You do, but I think that says a little bit about our relationship. But I have not called them that marker over and over and over again. I just let you do it, and I kind of like people being in debt to me.
Sure.
So
okay,
I'll run down to Jackson, and we'll go somewhere big. We'll go to Tico, something like that.
Okay,
we'll have a good time.
All right, that sounds good, Steve. I appreciate it. Thanks, man.
See you, bud.
All right, Steve Robertson, genespage.com, 247 Sports. We made a bet on the air. I said Coleman Hutzler would be let go. He said he wouldn't. And then the rest is history. Now, Mike McIntyre and Paul Rhodes are your defensive coordinators. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. Let's talk about the Older Brother Bistro for a minute, Jackson Meadows, and the fact that Barton Dinkins is one of the best chefs in the SEC. He opened up Two Brothers, and boy, did they pick a great year. 2014, Mississippi State goes to number one. And they opened it up in a place that's about as big as a closet, but super cool vibe. Then they build this unbelievable building and put Two Brothers in there. They got wraparound porches and decks and outside areas. It's become the go-to place for the former football and baseball players, which has worked out. Jeffrey Simmons, Dak Prescott, Jake Mangum, and Tanner Allen live there when they're in town. And so we've told you about the iconic wings at Two Brothers. Then they open up Older Brother Bistro. And they roll out this Reuben. It's one of the best Reubens I've ever had in my life. The muffaletta is unbelievable. The fried crab claws are amazing. He's got a lox bagel at Older Brother Bistro in the Cotton District in Starkville that is divine. Check out everything that Barton Dinkins is doing at Older Brother Bistro in Starkville. And, of course, the iconic, one of the coolest dive bars in the SEC, Two Brothers in the Cotton District.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
All systems go.
Live from the Whiskey 61 Lounge inside the Bank Plus studio.
This is Sound Warning.
Live in the studio.
It's the Out of Bounds Show with Low Bounds. Streaming live worldwide on the Out of Bounds radio app. And on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
All set? Let's go.
The Zone.
Good morning to you. We love you. We are the Out of Bounds Show, ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We're driven by your next GMC Sierra truck from our friends at Fowler GMC Pearl Brandon. FowlerGMC.com. That's FowlerGMC.com. Sierra trucks, Yukons, you name it. Fowler GMC. Show is also brought to you by Superior Foundation. For all your foundation repairs, French drains, and driveways, Superior Foundation, superior.ms. We're streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. I got Straight Funk with me, but if you're with the Elijah Craig guys, he goes by the name of Ice Cream Drinks. He is Jackson Meadows. We also call him Jay Meadows. So he's got several nicknames. Double Down, Ice Cream Drinks, Straight Funk, and Jay Meadows. We should put a poll up on our Facebook page, the Out of Bounds Show, which has been rocking lately, and let you vote. And we go with that for a month, and then we do it again. Then we do another one. That'd be fun. Or I thought it would be fun. What'd you say? I didn't. It sounded like you were mumbling or something.
No, it's just a display of range.
Yeah, all right. I want to know what Mr. DX thinks. He listens from South Carolina, and he said, Jay Meadows just said, it's a display of range, the fact that he has 4 nicknames on the show. Double Down was the first one.
Yep.
Ice Cream Drinks was the second one. Straight Funk was the third one, and Jay Meadows was the fourth one. I just mix them in depending on whatever's come to my mind. But
every single one of them still apply.
Yes, they do.
Yeah,
in fact, I expect you, when you and I go to Taste Italian Kitchen today, a little before 4 o'clock this afternoon, we want all our listeners to come out.
Yeah.
Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance. We're celebrating Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. I expect you to get a Tito's White Russian.
No,
I'm going to buy you one.
Yeah, I was going to say it's on your tab anyway, so you sign me up.
Yeah, I was about to say, you're always on my tab.
That's a fact.
You're just like Wilkes and Ella Hall.
Just make sure they know it when I walk in.
I tell Wendy all the time, you're like a third kid, and she said, well, that's okay.
Yeah, it is.
Because she likes you for some reason.
I like Wendy. Wendy's great.
But, yeah, it'll be on my tab, and I'll send you home with a wood-fired pizza. Because Wendy did say that last night. She said, since you have your Elijah Craig Old-Fashioned Week celebration at Taste Italian Kitchen today at 4 o'clock, she went, does that mean we get a wood-fired pizza from Taste?
Exactly what
for
it means.
Dinner tomorrow? I went, yes.
Absolutely.
So, and those wood-fired pizzas from Taste Italian Kitchen are, they are so good. They are, I'd had a million of them in Starkville because that's where Taste started. Of course, they got a beautiful building up there, beautiful bar. It was so funny. Dan Mullen wanted an Italian restaurant in Starkville for years. And every time you would run into Dan, so Dan, Dan was down in Jackson all the time. Y'all know that. He's recruiting, seeing alums when he was at Mississippi State. And so this is 15 years ago we're talking, and he went, I've been to Amerigo, and da-da-da, and Megan and I went, and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, have you been to Fertizzi's? And he went, no. I went, well, go to Fertizzi's and get a pizza.
Yeah.
And get a cup of the red sauce. And he was like, no way. I said, way. And anyway, he did that. And there was one other spot he hit here. Because Dan and Megan loved good food. Of course, they had lived all over the country. She had been with the Golf Channel, blah, blah, blah. But how funny is it that he leaves Craig opens Taste
Yeah,
Italian Kitchen. Well, guess what happened last year? This is funny as hell. Last year, Dan and Dak, when they came in town to recognize the 2014 team, they came in on Friday night. Well, they got a private room at Taste.
Well, of course.
Well, the next day, Dan sat with us for a half for the Mississippi State A&M game because I told everybody about talking to him about the North Carolina job and all that stuff, and how relaxed he had never watched a football game in the. It's funny, when you coach, you don't watch games as a spectator, and so he was like, "This is not something I've ever done," and we talked about Taste because he was like, "Finally, Starkville has an awesome Italian restaurant." I was like, "Yeah." We started laughing about that. But that wood-fired pizza, melt your face.
I like it. They do it right, man.
I mean, are you kidding me?
Yeah, Craig told me about whenever he came up here that one day, he told me about the exhibition, I guess, that y'all put on trying to, figure out the sandwiches and what the whole menu deal.
So he invited me to do that.
That's crazy. That's awesome. What an invite.
He called me, he said, "Hey, we're tasting 28 sandwiches over 2 days." So I drove up to Starkville. We tasted double digits sandwiches.
I mean,
it was unbelievable.
A huge amount.
Then we came back the next day and tasted the rest.
I just have so many questions.
And it was unbelievable.
Like, how do you clear your palate to be able to
I had some, he's got an aperitif.
So there's something
called
designed?
Yeah, so.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
He's got a 90% of our Italian restaurants that are worth a damn have after dinner drinks or digestives or aperitifs.
That's an Italian thing.
And that helps you, so I got one of those in a snifter and I was sipping on it throughout having the sandwiches.
Nice.
Well, I thought it was pretty awesome.
But
I'm a pro.
That's also a good point.
So
are the Italians on digestive.
The Italians are pros on food.
That's why they eat salads after.
Which isn't that crazy?
I mean, it is until you think about it, and then it makes plenty of sense. The salads, it's a digestive aid, and it's supposed to go in after you eat your main meal to help the whole main meal be digested.
So, what's the name that you're tied into?
The DeLuca family.
The DeLuca family. Okay,
not tied in, part of.
You're part of the DeLuca.
A branch of.
Hey, they've got a forget about it sandwich at Taste.
Yeah, they do.
Sliced Italian beef, Italian sausage, and mild or hot something that I can't pronounce. Giardinaria something.
Nice.
It's fabulous. So they have rolled out some. You're right. I'm glad you mentioned that. I haven't given the sandwiches. Ooh, there's a picture of their homemade famous meatball appetizer on their Facebook page. Oh my gosh.
They have yet to miss.
That looks delicious. Ooh, I'm going to have to save that, and I'll throw that out with our invite on the Elijah Craig. Come see us at 4:00 this afternoon at Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance, and have a beverage with us as we celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. All right, let's switch gears. Coaching carousel. We're going to hit the next 50 minutes of the show. You've got Arkansas that's open. Gus Malzahn, Rhett Lashley, John Summerall, Dan Mullen. I don't think Brent Key leaves a Georgia Tech as an alum to go to Arkansas. I may be wrong, but I don't think he does.
Bold move.
Now, here's what's up in the air. Breeze getting booted at Auburn, Napier getting booted at Florida, Stoops getting booted at Kentucky, and Brian Kelly getting booted at LSU. Because if Brian Kelly goes to Vanderbilt, that's the Tito's Vodka Bloody Mary game this weekend. It's 11 a.m. kick. You actually have several good games early and Friday night. But if he loses to Vanderbilt, it's curtains. We'll discuss that straight ahead. I've got some other coaches that I want to throw out, some other names. Also, keep an eye on Dabo. Man, we got lists for days. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. I'm your host, Bo Bounds.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
I don't know if he'll still believe in Auburn Saturday night or Sunday morning. We're live in the Bank Plus studio. The show today is brought to you by the amazing wings at McBee's Bar and Grill on Lake Harbor in Ridgeland. I went to McBee's on Sunday because I wanted to check out the Saints game because they have this Saints crew that shows up and watches the games. Those people are wild. That's fun, though. And I had some wings and an ice cold Bud Light. But so back in the back left of McBee's, you know, they have a stage and another area you can watch TV, and they bought a 100-inch TV, and they got two TVs around it. And they had all these NFL fans back there at McBee's on Sunday. Most of them were Saints, but we had some Steelers fans and some Packers fans too. So
Always.
it was fun to see everybody. You know, I'm so SEC driven that it finally opened my eyes when we moved the studio to the Alumni House. When we moved the studio inside the Alumni House in 2007, it was then that it dawned on me I would go in there on Sundays just to maybe grab something from the studio or whatever. But you would see and this is a long time ago, but of course the NFL has been wildly popular for years. But to see all the different jerseys there was crazy. Yeah. And that's when it started, that's when we started to get Mike Detillier on regularly and so on. But damn, this crew it doesn't matter if you're in an SEC market that's driven by MSU, Ole Miss, Bama, and LSU, among other schools, Auburn and so on. But that crew on Sunday was having a good time. And that was fun to watch at McBee's. And of course, Saints were playing the Patriots. They lost to Vrabel.
Barely.
Well, it was
They held it.
it was a good,
Close.
yeah. There was some back and forth there. I was watching the Saints and the Cowboys, so I got to see the Saints screw around, and then I got to see the Cowboys defense give up 238 yards to Rico Dowdle. Nobody even in the NFL fans even knew who Rico Dowdle was until he did that to the Carolina Panthers.
Yep.
I don't even think he had that many total yards in his last year in Dallas.
Yeah. That actually, you're probably right.
Back to the coaching carousel. We are the Out of Bounds Show, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Is Penn State going to lift Kurt Cignetti? I don't know why they go get Matt Rule, but I guess he's in it because of his ties to Penn State and the athletic director at Penn State when they were at Temple together. Drinkwitz. I don't think Bielema will be in the mix. He should be. He's a hell of a football coach. Hell of a football coach. Wins everywhere. I don't think Lincoln Riley's got that much juice, but there's something about he's been able to live off taking over for Bob Stoops when Stoops had the whole table set. Remember that when guys walk in, you have guys like this in life, business-wise, whatever connected. Very rare, but football too. Bob Stoops had won for 20 years. Lincoln Riley walks in. The steak is cooked perfectly. The Elijah Craig Old Fashioned is already poured. The wine is already in the decanter. The people are already at the table. Everything's ready. That's rare that you walk into that. So he looked great there, but then Southern Cal's been a little bit of a hit and miss. I also understand that Southern Cal, like many other schools, was late to the party on NIL portal, but they got plenty. They got plenty of 100 millionaires and billionaires in the Southern Cal Trojan fan base, right? And so I don't know about Lincoln. Shane Beamer, I think, is someone to keep an eye on. But I think that Shane, he feels more SEC to me, but it's Penn State. And it really looks like their 700, 800,000 living alums are about to just say, whatever it costs. And they can go toe-to-toe with Ohio State or Texas. Technically those other two fan bases may have more money. But when once you're talking about the levels that they're all at, it doesn't matter. If Penn State wants to spend $70 million on a football roster in 1 year, they can damn sure do it in their sleep. They can spend $100 million. Drinkwitz, I don't see him staying at Missouri. I don't think Ole Miss has anything to worry about with Penn State because that just doesn't feel like Lane wants to go up to the Northeast.
No.
Now, if LSU opens up and he's offered, he gone.
Yeah, but
if Florida opens up and he's offered, he will strongly consider. But I think they'll go Drink before Lane. Just my feel on Scott Strickland is he doesn't.
May not have a choice, though.
No, he may get told.
Yeah.
Or he may be able to sell.
Or Drink may be taken elsewhere.
Yeah, Drink could already be at Penn. You're exactly right. It's going to be a timing thing, too.
Yeah, completely.
Because Penn State's open, they're already talking to people.
Right.
All right, so they're already talking to agents. Who's interested? What's it going to take to lift him? All that. Mississippi State was very fortunate that Brian O'Connor knew that Virginia was going to cut him. And 30 days after he took the Mississippi State job, they cut the baseball program. All right. So it's rare that lines up, but it was a perfect time to lift him because they had not given him the resources, to date. And then they were going to cut the baseball program where Mississippi State was going to fully fund, like other schools in the SEC, the 35 scholarships among NIL too. So you were able to, that's the biggest lift in the history of college baseball. You went and got a national championship coach and they don't leave places.
No.
Okay. On this deal with Drinkwitz, Missouri to Penn State, that feels like the right play, but also Missouri's got the one billionaire that's in, but then the one billionaire recruited a bunch of guys who were 100 millionaires. And so they're swimming in a pile of money. So they may come back to him and go, well, we'll double your NIL budget. Drink. Why don't you stay?
Right.
Because we now know that you can win anywhere.
Right.
It's never been easier to win. For whatever reason, some fan bases won't embrace that. I'm still reading on Gene's page where they're celebrating a rebuild.
Why?
I don't know. It's like they enjoy pain, self-inflicted pain, and they are determined that this thing needs to be like a 5-year rebuild in Starkville when in Indiana, Georgia Tech, Missouri, Louisville, Texas Tech, and other spots
Didn't even take a year.
Turn it around like that.
6 months?
Yeah.
4 months?
Yeah. So that one I don't understand. Also, these national days, are they trying to confuse us?
What you got?
Well, just a few days ago, it was National No Brawl Day.
Facts.
And today it's National Brawl Day.
Okay.
So which one do they want to be?
Well, I'm okay with the celebration.
Okay.
As long as we're celebrating them, I'll be all right.
Okay.
We can make it through.
National Mushroom Day.
Love mushrooms.
I love mushrooms on a burger.
Oh, yeah.
Sauteed. I love some mushrooms on the side of a ribeye. Pittsburgh rare. Look, you can throw them in the cast iron, and it's beautiful. What?
I just can't. They're so slimy,
A stuffed
man.
mushroom with stuffed crab meat? Bravo's had one, and there's other. Man, you get a stuffed mushroom with some crab meat. Oh, that's fab. You don't like that? What the hell's wrong with you? That's right. You're from Clinton. Chicken strips and fries.
That's all I need.
Triple order.
Yes, sir.
The number 4 combo.
Right about.
Or whatever it is. The number 6 combo.
Yeah, well, we're Mexican eaters over there.
So chicken strips from McDonald's.
yeah.
Ugh. I haven't ever had a chicken strip.
No,
from
the
McDonald's.
nuggets from McDonald's.
I'm going to try. They're not awesome.
Heater.
It's not
chicken.
Well, no, it's not chicken. That's something made somewhere. I don't know where.
Paste.
All right. We've got another segment. We're going to have fun. Come see us today at Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance at 4 o'clock as we celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. Woo. Your SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by the Weinbergers at McBee's Bar and Grill. Lake Harbor and Ridgeland, they have blue plates every day. Their wings are amazing. McBee's Bar and Grill, Lake Harbor and Ridgeland. Wonderful place for lunch and dinner. They got happy hour daily, and they party when the Saints are on. And it's a great place for, they said they had a huge crowd for the Ole Miss game last weekend. Did State play? No. They were off, yeah. Yeah, so it was Ole Miss and, Washington State. Okay, so, God, it feels like a long time ago, yet it was only a couple days ago. Isn't that funny? When you're 9 hours into sports talk radio on another week, you're going, where are we, what's happening, and what are we doing? I know what we're doing this afternoon. We want you to come out and see us at Taste Italian Kitchen around 4 o'clock this afternoon in the Renaissance as we celebrate Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. Come see us. Beautiful restaurant and a beautiful, beautiful bar. When they get the outdoor area done, it's going to be amazing. Taste Italian Kitchen, 4 o'clock this afternoon. Bring a buddy. And we want to see our female audience represented at Taste Italian Kitchen this afternoon, celebrating Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week. They had over 190 activations. I didn't realize until Nick told me last night when that's how the team got after it in the state of Mississippi. And they were the first one, and they have the most. Think about it, our population, we don't have a big population. And that crew went out from DeSoto County down to Biloxi and Gulfport and signed up over 190 bars and restaurants to be a part of Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week and raise money for service industry workers who don't have health insurance and need some bills paid. That is freaking awesome. Come see us today, Taste Italian Kitchen in the Renaissance around 4 o'clock, and bring a client, bring your wife, girlfriend, or if I'm talking to the wife or girlfriend, bring your husband or boyfriend. And or whoever. I don't know if you want to bring both, but that's up to you. I'm staying out of that. I'll just chew the fat and hang out with you and would love to meet you. So Taste Italian Kitchen, Jackson and I. Are you going to make it again today? Because I'm sending you home with a wood-fired pizza. Right. I'm hoping Craig picks it up, but I'll pick it up if I need to. You get to pick whatever you want. Nice. Okay. The wood-fired pizzas from Taste are amazing. All right, we're ESPN 105.9 The Zone. We've got some audio here. Manny Diaz is the head football coach at Duke. He spent 2 years as defensive coordinator at Penn State. He had 2 stints in Starkville under Dan Mullen as the defensive coordinator. He's really sharp, smooth, articulate, all that kind of stuff. He's done a good job at Duke. And this is Manny Diaz talking about what Indiana and Kurt Signetti are doing and the temperature in the room this day and age in college football.
Have a championship football program anywhere. Doesn't mean win a championship, because everybody wants to win a championship, but you can compete for championships anywhere now. The landscape has changed, and there are legacy brands who believe that you still have to go to a legacy brand, and that's the only place that it can happen. And that for a long time was true. I don't believe that that's true anymore, and I think there's a lot of evidence. And I'll tell you, this team that's coming here this Saturday, they're a 2-point conversion away from having won in Athens, Georgia. They would have the longest winning streak in the country. They'd probably be ranked in the top 5, having taken down Georgia, Miami, Vanderbilt, Clemson, all in that time frame, right? But no one sees it yet, right? And it's strange how we don't really see what's quite exactly happening, because I think we still get stuck on logos on the side of helmets. I just do. So that's why we're excited to play. I think there's a big time team coming in here this weekend, and all the evidence of what they've done on film suggests that. And I just think it's great for our people here, our fans, to see, two major programs getting after it.
All right. Manny Diaz nailed it. You can compete for championships anywhere now if you've got the right people in place. And that's proven now at Indiana and other places. And Georgia Tech. Look what Brent Key has done at Georgia Tech. But he's also done it with a dual threat quarterback. If your quarterback's a statue, it ain't going to work. It's not. even at Penn State, where you don't play anybody and you have more talent than everybody except Ohio State. Because Penn State and Michigan's a push. So I want you to think about that. Can you imagine, like Mississippi State and Ole Miss have never woken up and been able to say that just because they play in the toughest, most talented, most brutal conference in the country. Penn State gets to wake up and go, all right, we're more talented than anybody we play except Ohio State. But Manny Diaz, head football coach at Duke, just told you, and there's a lot of people that need to adopt this on Gene's page and Six Pack Speak, the woe is me mentality. You know?
Oh, yeah.
You really need to pull up clips of Kurt Signetti and adopt his mentality. And you need to listen to that Manny Diaz audio on what's it called? Loop?
Yeah.
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 Like when you listen to something.
Repeat.
Yeah, repeat. Because Manny Diaz just nailed it. I've been saying that for a while now. It's never been easier to win. You either need to adopt that mentality or get out of the way. I mean, because anything else is a loser's mentality.
That's correct.
But if you have a dual threat quarterback, you got a shot this day and age. Look at Haynes King at Georgia Tech. I mean, Ole Miss played so poorly last Saturday that it took Trinidad Chambliss making two plays in the fourth quarter. But when you can run and boogie and everything, nothing's working. Everything's going against you. When you have a guy who can run, you got a shot.
Tuck it and go.
Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Brent Key, can you lift him? That's his alma mater. It's a private school with an enormous amount of money that didn't want to get in to the portal, and then Key went and called on alums. Brent Key went and called. Now, it didn't hurt that his age group is now in that sweet spot of making money. Brent Key played in the late 90s. So his buddies are 43, 44, 45 years old. Plus, he knew people older and so on. And Georgia Tech's got an enormous amount of money. They've got a revered engineering school. And he went and got some dudes, and now they're pumping money in.
They're getting 9-figure gifts.
Yeah.
They got $100 million on September 4th, 2025.
Okay. There you go.
Casual.
There you go. How about that?
I mean, you know, I'm sticking to it, though. You take it, put it on black, and then you got 2 decades worth of whatever you need.
Right. What you do is you give the $100 million to Brent Key.
Boom.
He goes to Vegas.
Yeah.
Puts it on black.
You got every player.
And then he's got $200 million.
You got every player in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. I mean, I guess Phil might maybe put up a good fight with it, but you can still money whip him.
I don't know if you can money whip Phil Knight.
You don't think so?
I don't know if that's
Let's see.
something that you can do.
Maybe if you take that $100 million and put it on a
Because he's got, what does he have? $100 billion?
Is it that?
$200 billion? I don't know.
Is it really? Is it that? Golly.
So I don't think you're money whipping,
34.1.
So he's got $34 billion?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, look, if you put it on a number on that roulette table and you hit that,
Then
you got 35B. 100 mil ought to go to 35B.
then you go to $70 billion, right?
If you put it on black right after it, boom. See,
Yeah.
I mean, this is easy.
There's no doubt that you should have been in wealth management.
Yeah.
I mean, these schools that are getting,
Dude, you want to get rich or
like
not?
George Bishop gave Mississippi State $110 million last year.
Yeah.
Okay. So on Forbes, he's worth, last time I looked, like $4.5 billion.
Okay.
All right. So what you would have told him if you managed the money of the foundation,
Yes.
you would have said, all right, George, I've got a plan.
Yeah.
Let's take this $110 million. Let's put it on black and let's make it $220 million. Is that what you were thinking?
I think I would have banked 25% of it, maybe 30,
Okay.
and then taken the rest and said, this is what we're going to do.
Okay.
And we start by going straight black.
Okay.
Walk in. No, you don't even need to say a word to anybody. You just go and put it on black. When it hits, then all right, you take a deep breath and then look around and say, all right, well, it's time. So let's get it.
All right. So George Bishop, Mississippi State alum, right here on Forbes, he's worth $4.7 billion. So
Yeah.
you know what to do with this money. to get Mississippi State the roster that they want.
Tell him to call me.
Yeah.
I'll call him.
I mean, he's worth almost $5 billion.
He'll take the phone call.
He ran up 2 energy companies and sold them and exited.
I can talk energy with him.
Okay. He owns an island.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Down in the Bahamas.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the reservoir.
No, well, and he does own that property out there.
Shut up.
I'm not kidding.
The little goat
He's
island?
in development. He's in real estate development too.
The Goat Island deal out there?
No.
Okay.
He owns some of the land in the harbor.
Really?
Yeah, where the dock was, unless he sold it. Here it is. He owns Chub Cay. It's a 29-room resort in the Bahamas with a yacht marina that can accommodate up to 160 yachts.
It does what? Huh?
George Bishop, who gave $110 million to Mississippi State University, who's worth $4.7 billion, owns Chub Cay, a 29-room resort in the Bahamas with a yacht marina that can accommodate up to 160 yachts. You and I probably need to go down there and do a remote.
Can you what?
Right?
They got that many
We
yachts?
want to make sure those 29 rooms are full.
Well, I mean, I need to make sure these yachts are up to par.
Oh my gosh. You on a $100 million yacht would be
It'd be
scary.
It'd be worth about 20 when I get off of it.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Brad Martin on the Golden Moon Casino text line says, Commish. He calls Jackson Commish for our listeners
that.
because he's the commissioner of the Northeast Jackson Kickball League, which is legendary.
It is.
Basically, that means you're Mayor Horn's right hand.
Essentially.
I mean, if you're the commissioner of the Northeast Jackson Kickball League, I'm thinking John Horn gets up every morning and texts you, what's the next move
What's
the
the
city
move?
needs to make?
Yeah.
Now, this is what Brad on our text line says. Commish, you could do your part of your Christmas card photo shoot at Taste today. You should do that today.
I'll do that.
That'd be a hell of a draw.
Well, actually, I don't have enough sets of the reindeer horn antlers.
Oh, you don't have them yet?
And I gotta get the smalls. Gotta get an extra small for the little dog. I bet I can find some.
Oh, you added a dog.
Yeah, we added one.
Do you have 3 dogs?
3 dogs. Wouldn't give them up for the world.
That's
Incredible dogs.
I
Every
don't-
single one of them.
I don't even know what to say about that. You
I mean-
can't even take care of yourself, and you have 3 dogs running around your house.
They don't.
Sounds like an absolute S show.
They don't chew things up. They don't do all that crap. They don't. They're well trained. They're house trained. I mean, look, I didn't have to train them, so it was good.
Okay, the little dog that you got.
Yeah.
What
brilliant.
kind of dog?
A mini Aussie Doodle. That is brilliant.
Oh, he's brilliant.
It's crazy. Those dogs are highly intellectual.
Really?
Very, 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 very. It's crazy. It's really.
You probably have like Andrew Uberman's podcast on loop at the house right now all
Dude.
day, right? And he's learning all these medical terms and things that he can do.
Dude, I'm getting him some AirPods so he can
Yeah.
always be learning.
Okay.
He's really smart. It's really wild.
You should get him some AirPods.
We're
Let
gonna
him
get him
listen to,
we're gonna get him the little tennis ball thing. It's automatic. You got to teach the dogs how to go. They obviously it'll launch the ball. They go get it and they bring it back and stick it in there.
Yeah.
And so to launch it again.
Yeah.
So I don't have to throw it every time.
Okay.
So we got to teach them how to do that. I think that'd be pretty easy.
Okay.
I mean, I'm essentially a dog whisperer.
That's fair enough.
I mean, yeah, we're good at it.
You're a dog whisperer.
I'd say.
You need to become an underdog whisperer.
How about that?
Yeah. Okay.
You got it.
I don't see it.
Oh, really nice. Sweet. I'll double check that.
All right. Can I drop this Signetti on taking a head coaching job? Do we have that? Or do we want to go Manny again on coaching today? I'm good with either one.
I like Manny. But I hadn't heard Sinetti.
All right, let's do Kurt Signetti since he's the hottest coach in the country. And we're wondering whether he's actually going to stay at Indiana. Of course, they have 600,000 living alums and an enormous amount of money. And I would think they're so in now, they don't even know what to do. But could Penn State lift him or Florida lift him or Auburn? I don't think he'd go to Auburn. Just because that's been so toxic. I know Florida's been toxic, but Auburn kind of defines college football toxicity.
Yes.
And, now if Lincoln left, would he go out? He's a Midwest guy. His wife's one of 7 or 8 children from there.
Jeez.
I just think he's either going to stay in there or go to Penn. I think he's going to stay at Indiana or go to Penn State. But I don't know, this day and age, when you're that rich, you can jump on a plane and go see family. And I mean, you can get from Gainesville to either Pennsylvania or Indiana in an hour and a half or less. All right, let's go with Signetti on taking a head coaching job at 50 years old.
On Nick Saban's staff.
Yeah.
Bet on yourself. You take the job, Division II school there. What was it about that opportunity that said, I'm betting on me, I'm gonna climb this ladder?
Yeah.
Or were you just happy to be there for the rest of your career?
You know, I was hitting the big 5-0, wanted to be a head coach, didn't want to close it out as an assistant. I always thought I'd be a good head coach. And so I made a radical move, you know, with 2 girls in high school, my son freshman
What'd
in
your
college.
wife say to you? Would you say, hey,
She looked at me like I was crazy. She said, no. I mean, you're talking about taking a pay cut maybe from 320 to 120. And then finally, after I came in the second time, she said, okay. Now, it was a town she was from. She was one of 10 children, 7 girls, 3 boys. 9 other names star them. She's number 9. And my parents still lived in that town. And my dad had coached there at one time. Sure. They were a powerhouse. But since then, things had changed, budgets, unions, just they weren't very good. And I took it, and, you know, I learned a lot. We
won more than 50 games.
Yeah, we had a good first year. We're 12-2, year 2. Should have been undefeated if I'd have worked enough on special teams. You know, so I was able to get my mistakes out of me. And then kind of, like, knew what I was doing after a while.
You bet on your...
All right. Did you notice what he said at the end? I was able to get my mistakes out of me. Whereas, like, learning on the job in the SEC is brutal. I thought that was Kurt Signetti, by the way, the head football coach at Indiana, hottest coach in the country. Didn't get his break until he was 62 years old at a Power 4 school. I mean, he had to go to IU Penn. You've never heard of that. I've never heard of that. You've never watched one of their plays. Neither have I.
No.
Okay. Right. I mean, 120 people show up on a Saturday for their games. 80 of them are parents.
Yeah.
And then other people are just bored or live right there. Go get a craft beer and wherever that is in Pennsylvania, and then they walk over and get a burger and watch maybe a quarter, not really watching the game. Y'all know that drill. So he decides at 50 years old to take a $200,000 pay cut while he's got 2 girls in college who want to go to med school.
Wow.
And he goes and coaches at a place that had lost population and jobs through, you know, just shifts in the economy over the years, where his dad had coached and become a legendary coach and a Hall of Famer. And he goes 12-2 in the first year. And he says, if I'd have worked on special teams like we should have, we would have gone undefeated. And he went on to say, and I was able to get my mistakes out. And then he goes to Elon, and then he goes to James Madison, and he just boat races people. Just absolutely dominates. And now look what he's doing at Indiana. And at 50 years old, he decided, hey, I'm here at Alabama. I'm getting paid. And this was 15 years ago.
Right.
All right. So now that position today pays $550, but in SEC football. But he's making, according to him, $320,000 in Tuscaloosa 15 years ago, where you can do just about whatever you want.
Yeah.
All right.
Bank.
And your kids can go to the University of Alabama free, and maybe even the whole Alabama system as an employee.
Yeah.
And you know, UAB has a medical school and so on. And he takes a $200,000 pay cut to go to IU Penn, IU Pennsylvania. And then the rest is history. Today we're watching him
destroy.
Run it up on people.
How?
He just went out to Oregon, who has arguably the biggest budget in college football right now, and there's ebb and flow all the time.
Sure.
Okay, between Oregon, Texas, Ohio State, Penn State's about to, you know, throw in 40 or 50 million, whatever. But Oregon, I think, has spent as much or more than anybody else the last 36 months money whipping high school kids and portal kids to come out to Oregon. And they're built like an SEC team. He went over there and won 30-20, and his defense dominated them. They punched him in the mouth, beat him physically, beat him in the line of scrimmage, beat him between the headsets, beat them before the game, during the game, and after the game. Game day was out there and everything else. And Dan Lanning and Phil Knight took the L to some guy named Kurt Signetti, who looks like he should be a biomedical engineering professor at MIT.
Yep.
And if you notice in every single interview, he doesn't give a damn.
No.
All right, we are the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 105.9 The Zone. You can make picks and win money right now in Mississippi, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Mariners and Blue Jays, and I'm selecting Vladimir Guerrero Jr. for higher than 1.5 total bases. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code Out of Bounds to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Out of Bounds. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
Boom. Come see us at Taste Italian Restaurant this afternoon around 4 o'clock. We'd love to meet you and see you. We'll be celebrating Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week at Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance this afternoon at 4 o'clock. From the wood-fired pizzas to the homemade meatball appetizer to the calamari and the fried ravioli. Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance this afternoon at 4. Come see us. We are the Out of Bounds Show, and guess what? You can make picks and win money right now in Mississippi, and Underdog is the best place to get in on all the action. Get your picks right, and you could win up to 5,000 times your cash. This week on Underdog, I'm looking at Dodgers and Brewers and selecting Shohei Ohtani for higher than 1.5 total bases. Download the app today. Sign up with promo code Out of Bounds to score $100 in bonus funds or bonus entries when you play your first $5. That's promo code Out of Bounds. Underdog. Make picks. Win money.
Must be 18 and older and present in Mississippi. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
I'll believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
Taste Italian Restaurant. 4 o'clock this afternoon. Actually, we'll be there a little earlier than that, but 4 o'clock this afternoon, celebrating Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week at Taste Italian Restaurant in the Renaissance. Thanks for listening to the show. We love you. Love for you to go to YouTube and search Out of Bounds Sports. We're trying to hit a number between now and the end of the year. Love for you to subscribe. It'd mean the world to Jay Meadows, Jackson, and I. YouTube, our channel, Out of Bounds Sports. We'll see you at Taste Italian Restaurant at 4 o'clock today.